Hello friends, welcome to Insight. Our motive is to summarize the best books in the world and to give an idea of that book to reach more people for their insight. Also, we have arranged a playlist you can access and explore more sources of books and authors for various fields. Before moving on to the main content, we would like to thank the author Hector Garcia Francesc Miralles and the publisher Penguin Random House for their outstanding content. Let's move on to the video. This is Insight, and today we're going to see the summary of the book, Ikigai. Here is a short introduction about the author. The book is co-authored by Hector Garcia, a Spanish citizen who has been living in Japan since 2004, and Francesc Miralles, a Spanish author and journalist. Together, they have written several books on Japanese culture, including A Geek in Japan and The Blue Zones of Happiness. The authors explain that the book is based on their experiences living in Japan and their conversations with Japanese people who embody the concept of Ikigai. Now let's move on to the book summary of Ikigai. Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life is a book written by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles that explores the Japanese concept of Ikigai, or reason for being. The authors draw on their own experiences and research to provide practical advice and insights into how to find and live a purposeful and fulfilling life. The book covers topics such as mindfulness, connection, and self-reflection, and provides examples of individuals who have found their Ikigai in different ways. The book has become popular worldwide for its simple yet profound message about the importance of living a purposeful and meaningful life. Chapter 1: The Search for Happiness. The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life explores the concept of happiness and its meaning in different cultures. The chapter begins by asking a fundamental question: what is happiness? The authors argue that this is a complex and multifaceted question, and that the answer can vary widely depending on cultural and personal factors. The authors explain that in Western culture, happiness is often equated with material possessions and pleasure. However, in Japanese culture, happiness is more closely linked to a sense of purpose and fulfillment. The authors attribute this difference to cultural and historical factors, including Japan's unique blend of Confucianism, Shintoism, and Zen Buddhism. The authors also introduce the concept of Ikigai, which they describe as a reason for being, or a sense of purpose and fulfillment. They argue that Ikigai is a key factor in achieving happiness and living a long and healthy life. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide examples of individuals who have found their Ikigai in different ways, including through work, hobbies, and relationships. They also highlight the importance of aligning one's Ikigai with one's values and beliefs. The authors conclude the chapter by emphasizing the importance of understanding the cultural and personal factors that shape our understanding of happiness and purpose. They argue that by exploring the concept of Ikigai and finding our own sense of purpose and fulfillment, we can achieve a deeper and more lasting form of happiness. Chapter 2: The Origins of Ikigai. The chapter begins by tracing the history of the word Ikigai, which is believed to have originated in Okinawa, Japan. The authors explain that the concept of Ikigai is deeply rooted in Japanese culture and history. They highlight the influence of Zen Buddhism, which emphasizes the importance of mindfulness and living in the present moment, and of Shintoism, which stresses the importance of connecting with nature and finding harmony with the world around us. The authors also explore the cultural and historical factors that have shaped the concept of Ikigai over time. They explain that Ikigai has been influenced by factors such as social class, gender roles, and changes in Japanese society over time. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide examples of how Ikigai has been expressed in Japanese culture over time. They discuss the role of work and vocation in finding one's Ikigai, as well as the importance of family and community in providing a sense of purpose and connection. The authors conclude the chapter by emphasizing the enduring appeal of the concept of Ikigai, both in Japan and around the world. They argue that the idea of finding one's reason for being is a universal human desire, and that the concept of Ikigai offers a practical and meaningful approach to achieving this goal. Chapter 3: The 4 Elements of Ikigai. These 4 elements are what the authors identify as the building blocks of finding one's purpose or reason for being. The authors explain that the 4 elements of Ikigai are what you love. This refers to the things that you are passionate about, that bring you joy and fulfillment, and that you look forward to doing. What you are good at. This refers to your skills, talents, and strengths. It includes the things that come naturally to you and that you excel at. What the world needs. This refers to the ways in which you can make a positive contribution to the world. It includes the needs and problems that exist in the world around you and the ways in which you can use your skills and passions to address them. What you can be paid for. This refers to the ways in which you can earn a living or financial stability. It includes the things that others are willing to pay for and that align with your passions and skills. Throughout the chapter, the authors explore each of these 4 elements in more detail, providing examples of how they can be applied in real-life situations. They also emphasize the importance of finding a balance between these elements, as focusing too heavily on one at the expense of the others can lead to a lack of fulfillment and purpose. The authors conclude the chapter by encouraging readers to reflect on these 4 elements and how they can be combined to find one's Ikigai. They argue that by focusing on these key elements and aligning them with our values and beliefs, we can find a sense of purpose and fulfillment in our lives. Chapter 4: Flow and the Power of Purpose. The authors explain that flow is a state of mind that occurs when we are fully absorbed in an activity to the point where we lose track of time and become completely immersed in what we are doing. They argue that flow is a key component of finding purpose and fulfillment in our lives, as it allows us to fully engage with our passions and talents. The authors draw on the work of psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who has extensively studied the concept of flow. They explain that flow occurs when there is a balance between the challenge of an activity and our own skills and abilities. When we are engaged in an activity that is too challenging for our abilities, we may experience anxiety and stress. Conversely, if the activity is not challenging enough, we may become bored and disengaged. The authors also explore the relationship between flow and purpose, arguing that flow can help us to. Chapter 5: Mindfulness and the Art of Savoring. The authors explain that mindfulness is a state of active, non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. They argue that practicing mindfulness can help us to appreciate the small moments of joy and beauty in our lives and to cultivate a sense of gratitude and contentment. The authors also discuss the importance of savoring, which involves fully experiencing and enjoying positive experiences. They provide examples of how we can savor moments of pleasure, such as enjoying a delicious meal, spending time with loved ones, or simply taking a walk in nature. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide practical tips for cultivating mindfulness and savoring in our daily lives. They emphasize the importance of being fully present in the moment and of taking the time to appreciate the small pleasures in life. The authors also highlight the role of mindfulness and savoring in promoting overall well-being and happiness. They argue that by cultivating a sense of mindfulness and savoring, we can learn to appreciate the beauty and richness of life, even in the midst of difficult or challenging circumstances. The chapter concludes with a reminder of the importance of mindfulness and savoring in finding our Ikigai. The authors argue that by cultivating a sense of presence and gratitude in our lives, we can learn to appreciate the small moments of joy and fulfillment that can ultimately lead us to a greater sense of purpose and meaning. Chapter 6: Living with Purpose. The authors begin the chapter by discussing the challenges that many people face in finding their purpose or Ikigai. They argue that living without a sense of purpose can lead to feelings of apathy, boredom, and disillusionment, and can ultimately have negative effects on our physical and emotional well-being. The authors then explore the importance of living with purpose, which they define as aligning our passions and skills with a sense of meaning and contribution to the world. They provide examples of individuals who have found their Ikigai, such as artists, athletes, and community leaders, and discuss the sense of fulfillment and joy that comes from living a purpose-driven life. The authors also discuss the role of challenges and obstacles in finding our purpose. They argue that facing and overcoming challenges can help us to grow and develop, and can ultimately lead us to a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide practical tips for discovering and living with purpose. They emphasize the importance of self-reflection and exploration, as well as the role of community and support in finding our Ikigai. The chapter concludes with a reminder of the benefits that come from living with purpose, including greater happiness, fulfillment, and a sense of meaning in our lives. The authors encourage readers to continue exploring their passions and skills, and to take steps towards aligning them with a sense of purpose and contribution to the world. Chapter 7. The Power of Connection. The authors begin the chapter by discussing the negative effects of loneliness and social isolation on physical and mental health. They argue that social connection is a fundamental human need, and that meaningful relationships with others can help to promote a sense of purpose and fulfillment in our lives. The authors then explore the different types of social connections that can contribute to our sense of Ikigai, including family, friends, and community. They provide examples of individuals who have found their purpose through social connections, such as caregivers, mentors, and volunteers. The authors also discuss the importance of reciprocity and giving in fostering meaningful social connections. They argue that by contributing to the well-being of others, we can experience a sense of fulfillment and purpose that contributes to our own well-being. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide practical tips for building and strengthening social connections. They emphasize the importance of active listening, empathy, and communication, as well as the role of shared experiences and shared values in building meaningful relationships. The chapter concludes with a reminder of the importance of connection in finding and living with purpose. The authors argue that by cultivating a sense of connection and belonging, we can experience greater happiness, fulfillment, and a sense of meaning in our lives. Chapter 8. Finding Flow in Your Work. The authors begin the chapter by defining flow as a state of optimal experience in which we are fully engaged in a task or activity and experiencing a sense of absorption and enjoyment. They argue that finding flow in our work can help us to experience a sense of purpose and fulfillment, as well as improve our productivity and performance. The authors then explore the different factors that contribute to flow, such as clear goals, immediate feedback, and a sense of control. They provide examples of individuals who have found flow in their work, such as musicians, athletes, and writers, and discuss the benefits that come from experiencing this state of optimal experience. The authors also discuss the importance of finding a balance between challenge and skill in order to experience flow. They argue that tasks that are too easy or too difficult can lead to boredom or anxiety, respectively, and that finding the right balance can help us to achieve a sense of flow and fulfillment. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide practical tips for finding flow in our work. They emphasize the importance of setting clear goals, breaking tasks into manageable steps, and minimizing distractions in order to achieve a state of focus and engagement. The chapter concludes with a reminder of the importance of finding flow in our work and the benefits that come from experiencing the state of optimal experience. The authors encourage readers to explore their passions and skills and to seek out opportunities to experience flow in their work in order to achieve a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Chapter 9. The Art of Aging Well. The authors begin the chapter by discussing the negative stereotypes and attitudes towards aging that are common in many cultures and the impact that these attitudes can have on older adults. They argue that approaching aging with a sense of purpose and vitality can help to combat these negative stereotypes and improve well-being in later life. The authors then explore the different factors that contribute to successful aging, such as physical activity, social connection, and a sense of purpose. They provide examples of older adults who have found fulfillment and purpose in their later years, such as artists, volunteers, and educators. The authors also discuss the importance of cultivating a positive attitude towards aging and embracing the opportunities that come with later life. They argue that by focusing on strengths and opportunities rather than limitations, older adults can experience greater well-being and fulfillment. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide practical tips for promoting successful aging. They emphasize the importance of maintaining physical and mental health, engaging in meaningful activities, and cultivating a sense of connection and purpose. The chapter concludes with a reminder of the importance of embracing aging as a time of growth and opportunity, and the benefits that come from approaching it with a sense of purpose and vitality. The authors encourage readers to view aging as a natural and valuable part of the life cycle and to embrace the opportunities that come with later life in order to achieve a sense of fulfillment and well-being. Chapter 10: A Life of Purpose. The authors begin the chapter by emphasizing the importance of having a sense of purpose in life and how this can contribute to overall well-being and happiness. They argue that having a clear sense of purpose can help individuals to overcome obstacles, cope with stress, and experience a greater sense of meaning and fulfillment. The authors then summarize the key elements of Ikigai, including finding one's passion, identifying one's mission, and pursuing activities that bring joy and satisfaction. They emphasize the importance of approaching life with a sense of curiosity and wonder, and cultivating a sense of gratitude for the opportunities and experiences that come our way. The authors also discuss the importance of connection and community in living a life of purpose. They argue that cultivating relationships and participating in activities that bring us into contact with others can contribute to a sense of belonging and social support, as well as provide opportunities for growth and learning. Throughout the chapter, the authors provide practical tips for living a life of purpose. They encourage readers to explore their passions and interests, set clear goals and priorities, and embrace challenges and opportunities for growth. They also offer guidance for maintaining a sense of balance and self-care, and emphasize the importance of cultivating resilience and adaptability in the face of adversity. The chapter concludes with a reminder of the importance of living a life of purpose and the potential for growth and fulfillment that comes with pursuing activities that bring joy and satisfaction. The authors encourage readers to embrace their Ikigai and pursue a life that is rich in meaning and purpose. Hey guys, hope you have enjoyed this insight. For deeper dive, you can read this book as well. Please share your feedback through comment, which we really care about. Like the video if you enjoy the content, and don't forget to share to your friends. See you all soon in the next insight.